I think it's now called the Indra Collective. Anyway, Indra Network of Youth Arts and Conflict Transformation, which has partner groups in, well, 6 in England. There's groups in India, Brazil, Palestine, Malaysia, Cyprus, Kosovo, South Africa, Canada, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some. So it's a great network of people who do arts with young people, particularly drama and theatre, and in generally societies that have had some experience of conflict, armed conflict. So that's how we got together. And last year I had a bunch of students who'd done these great pieces about their experiences growing up in Northern Ireland after the ceasefire and the Good Friday Agreement, peace agreement of 1998. I was saying to Jerry, we've got these great plays and poems and monologues written by these students, and he had a bunch of students and people who he knows through the Arojah Royal Theatre who were looking to share their recent work. So this started as an informal Saturday morning conversation between students here in Northern Ireland and artists and students in Nigeria, reading some of their work, workshopping stuff. They wrote some original stuff about their experience of the coronavirus pandemic, lockdown, and it's always been participant led. So we've always just said to whoever shows up, what would you like to do this again? And like to talk about when we do it again. So then we've done workshops on mental health. We've done workshops in digital theatre from Big Telly Theatre Company based in Northern Ireland about digital theatre work they've been doing over the last year and a half, which is very exciting. Input from 3 artists from Brazil who are talking about the digital theatre work they've been doing within the area of theatre for young audiences. And in fact, that conversation was hosted by the head of ASSETEJ, the Association for Theatre for Young Audiences from Brazil. Jerry is affiliated with ASSETEJ as well. He's involved in the Nigerian setup for Theatre for Young Audiences. I can't remember what his official title is. Sorry, Jerry. And then a couple of sessions ago, people said we would love to do something about puppetry. To know the wonderful Karen Torley, and also the wonderful applied puppetry lecturer, theatre practitioner, etc., Matt Smith. So the last of these sessions, we had Karen Torley demonstrating and showing us how he creates puppetry out of found objects and how he creates performances, stuff with some shadow puppetry, homemade shadow puppetry, which is fantastic. And people wanted more. We also had input from 2, maybe 3 leading Nigerian professors and practitioners of puppetry, including Phylemon was involved in that conversation. Weren't you there, Phylemon?
I'm there.
Yeah. And we thought, this is great. People are loving the puppetry. We want to talk about the puppetry more. There was a wonderful conversation between colleagues in South Africa, as well as Nigeria, and I think Kenya, and so, as well as us. And we thought we need to talk about this some more. So today, we're going to have a bit more time to talk about, share, and maybe some examples of puppetry from South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. Sorry, I'm slightly distracted. What countries, right, Jerry?
It's that's Kenya and Zimbabwe. I mean, which is a Southern African.
Zimbabwe, that's right. Sorry,
Zimbabwe, and then a little bit of some amateurish, puppet show from Nigeria. Inspired by the.
Are you going to show us the piece you did with the?
that piece, yes, I'm going to show that today.
Yeah.
Inspired by the last session.
All right, you came up with that just after the last session.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You came up with the golden fish. Oh,
yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Are you good to go now, Jerry? Can I pass over the?
Yes, we're good to go.
Role to you? Okay, thank you. So Jerry, I'll now pass on to my worthy colleague and dear friend, Jerry.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Explain the rest of what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, and thank you, everyone. For those who were here the last time, like Matt rightly mentioned, we are glad to have you back. Precisely, Dr. Matt Smith is here, and we also have Karen Torley. We appreciate your session the last time, and it has given birth, some, especially here in Nigeria, it's inspiring us to start, looking into the puppetry. Not that it doesn't exist here, but people have moved on to other things. But I can tell you, since after the last session, we have been so, reinvigorated to start looking at this precisely. And so you are going to see something very small from us here today. So we're happy to have you back here. I have here from the National Gallery of Art, Madam Ngozi John Uya in Nigeria. When we are ready to roll, that's one of those who will make it happen here. On our behalf, I can promise you. On our behalf. So, Madam Ngozi, thank you. Joshua, Maggie, Gertrude is here. He's been here for almost 30 minutes. And of course, Mr. Dotun Osunsanya, who facilitated the workshop that led to the piece you are going to see later on here today. So I welcome you, and we have two main speakers, actually one major speaker, and then a supporting, like they say in football, we have a supporting striker. The idea of this is to look further into the African continent, who is doing what as far as puppetry is concerned. And I think I wouldn't mince word to say that Kenya is probably doing very well when it comes to, the art of puppetry, theater. And so we have here today the director of the Kenyan Institute of Puppet Theatre, in the person of Phylemon Okoth. I hope I pronounced that very well. And of course, we have my sister from Zimbabwe, who will give us a feel of what is happening in the Southern Africa, especially Zimbabwe, as far as puppetry theater is concerned. And of course, our own interest in puppetry. We have here, she's a storyteller. She would have to run early, so we'll take her because she has a collaboration with the UK, which is showing today a storytelling session, because she's also a storyteller like our own Auntie Shine. So we'll take her first, and then we move on to Phylemon, who is doing the major presentation today, and then we can take the piece from Nigeria and discuss, further. We are live on Facebook for as many as are not able to join us live. And so if Gertrude is around, I think we should just, okay, for the purpose of those we don't know their background, I think let's just take another 5 minutes to quickly have people introduce themselves, mention what they do, and then we can take it off from there. In probably 1 minute each, or 1 minute and a half, and then you pass it to the next person. So maybe we should start from my mother from South Africa, Mary. My mother from South Africa that I have not seen for a very long time. Mary Lang, let's start from you with a bit of introduction.
Mary, can you hear me, Mary? Well, thank you so much. Lovely to see you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I didn't join earlier sessions. Yeah, lovely to see you. So ISA, which is what's for nation, culture and heritage also used in South Africa. And my particular interest is because we use puppets made from recycled materials in storytelling linked with Khoisan people at museums programs. So yes, thanks for having me. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. Maybe you pass it on to someone?
Can I pass on to Martina, please?
Martina?
Martina, are you there?
Or Joshua?
Okay, Joshua.
Hello.
Hey, Josh.
Hello, how's it going? So I am a creative in Belfast. I studied drama at the University of Ulster. as Matt taught me. I'm working just working as a creative in Belfast. I'm on a children's play that I'd like to have more puppetry in, so this seemed quite interesting to me. We've bit of an amateur, eager to learn.
Josh came to Bethlehem in Palestine with us in 2015 as part of the. So this is a reunion, the Bethlehem reunion.
Yeah, I missed that because of visa issues. Israeli Wahala. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Josh, you want to pass on to someone else?
To Una.
Una?
I'm also I'm just finished in the past week studying drama, also taught by Matt. Hi, Matt. And
You don't have to worry anymore.
so
You're finished. You can slag me off.
yeah. I literally just finished last week, and I'm breathing now. I'm trying to work on some short films and things at the minute, but as a student, I am here to learn and find out as much as I can, and I really appreciate being here. Matt, either Matt that wants to speak.
I've done it before. I did it at the beginning. What about Dotun?
There's two Matts here.
Oh, Matt Smith. Oh, okay. Sorry. Matt Smith or Dotun.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go first.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me then? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Dotun Osunsanya. I'm a theater artist and a puppeteer from Nigeria.
That's beautiful. Short and sweet. Thank you, Dotun. If everyone was as brief as that, we'd be over very quickly. So Matt, you wanna introduce yourself then, Matt Smith?
Hi, hello again. Lovely to see some faces from the last meeting. My official title is Doctor. I'm an applied theatre academic, like Mac Jennings, very similar lecturer. But my big news is I've just got a contract for the book on applied puppetry. So the publisher has said yes, so it's going ahead. So next year, fingers crossed, I'll have a book about applied puppetry published. So that'll be and it will go out the final year, but I've got to do all the work next year. So this is brilliant for me today because it's just lovely to hear puppeteers talking about puppetry, and particularly talking about puppetry where it's used in really interesting spaces. So yeah, really, really lovely to be here. And thanks for setting this up again, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. You want to nominate somebody to go next?
Karen Torley.
I'll mute myself. Hi everyone, Karen, I'm a puppeteer. I've been a puppeteer for over 30 years and that's it. I'll keep it short too. For a change, I went on a bit last time, so there you go.
Thanks, Karen. That's brilliant. Oh, did you Banyan? You want to mention the name?
Oh, I'm Banyan Theatre Company. I'm based in Derry, and I work quite often with Matt too. Hopefully, in Gertrude.
Gertrude?
Oh. Hi.
Gertrude. Okay, so who else? Simon?
Gertrude's there now.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I was just saying it's really cold in Zimbabwe. super excited. I am a theatre practitioner, I'm a writer, I'm a voice, I'm a TV presenter, artist. I love arts, I love the stage. What else? Yeah, that's basically it. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so
Phylemon.
yeah, Phylemon.
My name is Phylemon Okoth, and I am a puppeteer by profession. I'm also the director of Kenya Institute of Puppetry and folk media, especially. That's been my life for quite a while.
Okay, so Auntie Shine.
I love how succinct the puppeteers are as against the academic.
Yeah, just in time. Auntie Shine, time to introduce. Let's get, Auntie Shine is in the house. Let's get to meet her. Auntie Shine. Welcome. Are you there? Okay, so I'll just go then. Let me allow her settle in. Jerry Adeshewo is my name. I run the Arojah Royal Theatre, artistic director, Arojah Royal Theatre. And like Matt rightly said at the beginning of this session, we have been at this running into a year now since the lockdown began in April, thereabouts. And it has become a monthly session. It has become one of our major programming. And the idea of this is also that apart from standing in solidarity with one another because of the times we are in, it has also become a platform for us to share ideas on theatrical related, art-related issues generally across the continent and across the world. And here we are today for 2 sessions. As demanded by participants, we are looking at the art of puppetry, and so probably I can also introduce myself as a puppeteer in the making, as well. So it's my pleasure to have you all here. Thank you, and so we do hope we have a wonderful session. And then I will pass this on to Madam Ngozi Uya, while Sheung will get ready.
My name is, sorry, I'll start the video. My name is Ngozi John Uya. I work with the National Gallery of Art, Nigeria. And like Jerry said at the beginning, where the National Gallery is interested in puppeteering as part of the genres of art through which we'll express what's it called, Mando. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to meet you all. Thank you.
Auntie Shine.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good greetings, compliments of the moment, depending on whatever part of the world you are in. I'm glad to be here. My name is Sheung Odukoy earlier. I studied in arts. I work with the National Council for Arts and Culture. I've always been interested in theatre for education and children's theatre. So I've worked with the Arojah Royal Theatre on a number of years on theatre for young audiences. I'm also lead creative at Storytime with Auntie Shine, where I share stories with young folk tales with young audiences via Zoom and at live events. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you everyone. And here we go. I have the pleasure of just going straight away to invite Gertrude, our sister from Zimbabwe, to start up this session with presentation. Gertrude, here we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you everyone for having me. It's such a pleasure to be part of such a rich
group and the rich session. I'm so excited. Auntie Shine, how are you? I'm so excited to see you here.
So am I. I'm excited to be here too.
Jerry, you didn't tell me Auntie Shine was going to be here, so I'm even more nervous now.
Don't be at all.
Okay, so I'd like to just share a bit about puppetry, what I know about puppetry, and just the history of puppetry here in Zimbabwe and maybe Southern Africa. Puppetry has really been, or should I say here in Zimbabwe, since time immemorial. And in our African culture, puppetry has lived for decades through Nyao. I don't know if you're familiar with the Nyao culture. Those people that put on costumes and dance. It's called the Nyao culture here in Zimbabwe. So there's a lot of puppetry since back in those decades. And some of the puppets as well that are used here in Zimbabwe and other parts of Africa are actually for ritual purposes, just to mention a few. So in as much as we can have it for the growth and development of the society, some actually use puppetry for even deeper and scary purposes. I'd also like to share that when we do puppetry here in Zimbabwe, the main things that we really focus on is audience. And I love working with theater for young audiences. And I use puppetry for early childhood development because puppetry helps the children to be creative and to have a broader imagination. I do puppetry and storytelling because I'm telling the story and they're seeing the puppet doing what the story is telling. And also puppetry helps with their mobility. In my family, my youngest syndrome, and she has challenges with her mobility. So from a very tender age, I used to do a lot of puppetry with her, but I used to use the puppetries that we get from, home, like the socks. So I'll just make maybe a worm or make a snake and just put in my hand and speak to her. And she loved it so much. And it helped her as well with her mobility. And even her speech improved because she's trying to speak as well. So for children living with disability, puppetry has really removed that kind of discrimination because they too of engaging with the puppeteers that will be on stage or with the puppeteers that are actually performing to them. They're able to engage and also be incorporated in a production. Also, the way that puppetry has really worked for me is with incorporation of music and dance, when the puppets dance, and orally, how you tell the story through puppetry, how you take the audience through that journey, the costume that the puppets will be wearing, the set design that the puppets are acting on, the lighting, the drawings or the symbols that are in the place. And I've also learned a new technique of having small mats or cushions when telling stories through puppetry, because they're very comfortable and movement is quite easy when doing puppetry. And I love the hand operating puppets because they're of a hassle to the ones that we use strings for. So the hand operating puppets, because they also give children an opportunity to be part of it and they're also easy to make. I also love making handmade puppets because they're quite simple. Really, anyone can make them. So this is just my presentation that I for today. I am so excited that there are professionals who actually have huge degrees and backgrounds when it comes to puppetry, and I'm so excited because I'm going to learn a lot and I'm going to improve, and I'm going to have a cultural exchange with the likes of Matt, how you guys do puppetry in Australia and everyone else around Africa. Phylemon, I'm so excited to hear from you today. And Jerry, thank you so much for inviting me here, because I missed the last one. I kept nagging you, Jerry, I want to be part of this. So I'm really excited. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gertrude. I mean, that's the way to start. And thank you for giving us that overview of, about puppetry in Zimbabwe, and of course, maybe by extension, the Southern Africa. Hopefully there will be a time again for us to, like you said, the whole essence of this also is to stimulate interest and see the possibilities of creating, some cultural exchange activities, which will be, boundless somehow, that we can all begin to take puppetry to the, greater heights. So we just open this up for maybe 1 or 2 questions for Gertrude before we move on to the main presentation. So just by an indication of your hand, or just unmute and talk to us if you have any question for Gertrude. I can read from the chat. Mary Lang, who is also in South Africa, saying, "Oh, thank you, Gertrude. We also combine the puppets with storytelling. Would like to continue the conversation." So that is a South African combo already forming up there. Yeah. So Gertrude, you will need to
actually, Jerry. Sorry to interrupt there, Jerry. Actually, reminds me. Remember what we've done on previous sessions where we invite everyone to share their contact details in the chat.
Yes, in the chat.
He wants to be available. Yeah, to pursue further conversations about collaboration.
Yes, so I'll drop a sample of how we do that. And so before we leave, let's try drop our contact in the chat, just stating who we are, what we do, and then email address with phone, if we don't mind. So that's there we go. So any question for Gertrude? Okay, so I should ask this, Gertrude. Incidentally, we have here with us Phylemon, who is with the Kenyan Institute of Puppet Theatre. Is there any sort of institution in Zimbabwe, whether on its own or as part of another bigger institution, that cater for the practice of puppetry in Zimbabwe and and offer some support or the other? Is there any?
So in Zimbabwe, I think we all know how in Zimbabwe we don't have a theater company that really does puppetry. We actually do puppetry on an individual level. Yeah, we do puppetry on an individual level. And if one is to seek for support or anything of that sort, you do it an individual, different organizations or embassies or corporate companies that would want to support you to maybe do a performance. I will give an example of the African Culture Fund. I was privileged to be supported to do a storytelling piece, because no one really funds, really. It's quite difficult in Zimbabwe with the political situation and just our economy. So we really don't have, it's just individuals that do things. Yeah.
So in general, talking about whether as theater, whether as puppetry theater, how well does practitioners fare, as in terms of being an independent theater or independent producer back in Zimbabwe?
So in Zimbabwe, you need to have a person that is well recognized to produce, or you go the individual way of producing yourself. So when you produce yourself, you really don't have too much hassles when it comes to recommendations or clearance, because if you are a bigger organization, the laws will really pounce on you. So it gets a bit difficult. But there are theaters that can produce you if maybe you sell the idea to them. They can produce you, and maybe, yeah.
Okay, so from Dr. Matt Smith, we have two Matts in the house, so I need to do that. From Smith, there's a question here saying, thank you, Gertrude. The work you do and link to mobility is great and really interesting for me. Can you say a bit more about this?
Okay, thank you very, very much, Matt, for that question. So when I was at school, I did theater for the oppressed. We used to use theater to do counseling and mental health intervention. So after school, because during school we used to train different children from different orphanages on issues of mental health, and we used to use theater and dance to counsel them, to open up and speak about the different types of abuses, the different types of injustice that have happened to them. Then I streamlined, because of the fact sister already that is living with disability, and I made sure I have more to give to her artistically, because in our society they are not really incorporated. Even the schools in Zimbabwe, we don't have schools that really have children who are in the mainstream of schools. So with the mobility, I use puppetry that really isn't complicated, which is very easy for anyone at any age to use. So it's then very simple for them to do mobility. When it comes to their physical mobility, it's quite easy for them, and they quickly pick it up. I don't know if I answered your question.
Dr. Smith, does that answer? Or we need to push this a little bit further? Okay, so you got a thumb up from Dr. Smith, so that answers. Just to know if there is anyone before we move to Phylemon. Okay, Shion, Auntie Shine.
Well done, Gertrude. Great work. Could you share? I would have been great to dispose of some of the pop used in some of your exercises. However, could you also share with us some of the challenges you have when you have to work with puppets in a storytelling session, a number of children, at the same time you're telling the story?
Thank you very much, Auntie Shine. Unfortunately, if I have to go to the room, I'm sorry for that. So when you are to work with children and puppets in a storytelling session, you, the storyteller, are behind. The puppet is the one that's shining. I'm sure Phylemon is looking, is going to explain more of that. I do it. The puppet is the one that has the different voices that you want to use. Children are very fidgety and they like to be involved. You need to actually, you can have get an idea of actually bringing puppets for them. sometimes because you can't bring all of maybe hand operated puppets. You can actually bring different dolls that are maybe on rods. So those rods are actually their way of moving. So they use those rods to actually speak and move and do the action with the puppets. So it's totally up to you and your budget and how you want to do it and how you want to tell the story. And those cushions that I was talking about that the children sit on, those are because the children have to be grounded, and you are maybe on a platform where the puppet box is, and you're doing the story. And then maybe when you get out and maybe have a conversation with them, that's when you get them to engage, you know, with the puppets that you would have given them. So it really depends on what kind of puppets you want to use for them, but it's actually very doable.
Okay, I think Auntie Shine also is satisfied with that, and that's great insights. Apologies. What we will do now is to, you know, like said, last session was like a baptism of puppetry for as many of us that were present here. I mean, from both Smith and Karen. So it got us thinking at, look, this is one, you know, form of theater that we should bring life back into, especially for those of us from Nigeria. You know, so while we are preparing to take Phylemon, because we're still having a little bit of challenges with the presentation, I would take, so when we left here the last time, we gathered ourselves together, Arojah Royal Theatre, and then with our big uncle, Dotun Osunsanya, and we're like, okay, so look, we cannot have you here, and then there is no puppetry. And he said, look, I am at your service. I have enough of, you know, experience and knowledge to share. Let's see if you can get 4 or 5 persons who are interested together, and then let's do something. And then we got to do something very small, which we want to share with you now. Is for about 10 minutes. It's simply amateur. I mean, this is not belittling the effort, but it's something we just say, okay, let's just bring something here, and then by September, I can promise you we are cooking something big, and then the Art of Puppetry is going to get back its life, at least in Nigeria, and I'm sure with Gertrude there, with Mary in South Africa, with Phylemon, we are going to begin to do something great, and especially with the support of Karen and Smith, we are going to come, you know, sliding into your you know, boxes, you know, to share experience with us. So I'll quickly share with you this as a way of interluding between the 2 speakers, and then we take Phylemon. Okay. Okay, bend down.
Presentation is very long. Is that one?
Jerry,
Yeah,
we can hear your.
Let's go on with this.
I can hear your video. Okay, so mute yourself there, Jerry.
Yes.
Sorry, Philip.
It's okay.
Please carry on, Phylemon.
Okay, my presentation is a short one. And as you can see, I'm the director of Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre. I'm also the president of UNIMA Kenya chapter and the secretary of our stage chapter. And just move to the next slide. My presentation is titled Nothing to Something, and basically it's about my experiences and our puppetry experiences in Kenya. And I'll start by a brief background of actually what happened. Before 1994, there was no educative puppetry program in Kenya. We were basically using folk media to address issues of family planning, health issues, governance issues. But in 1994, there was a need for us also to integrate puppetry in our program. So in 1995, we embarked on a training of puppeteers in Kenya. And basically, the trainers for Kenya puppetry program came from South Africa, a program known as AREP, Africa Research Education Puppetry Program. They were hired to come and integrate their puppetry program to our folk media program so that we could have at least more integrated approach and more appealing approach to create awareness on social issues that we were doing. And it's better to highlight that our program basically is a social for change program. We focus on issues that affect the community, issues that need to be changed, and we focus on transformation of livelihood, particularly for the disadvantaged in the community. So in 1997, after training of about 500 puppeteers, we embarked on now decentralization of our program. What we realized from AREP, the company that came to train us, is that they had one organization moving around the country, performing all the shows in the country. And to us, we realized that that was very hectic. We couldn't be able to do that. So we decentralized our operation in the sense that we embarked on training puppeteers at the regional level. Basically, this will ease our work and we could be able to do a big coverage and address various issues that affect our community. Remember, in Kenya, we have almost like 42 communities speaking different languages. So it could be very, very difficult for one team to move around, to try to make their performances understood by all these communities. And it was going to be very, very easy for us to train community-based groups to be able to tackle their own issue. So that our work was basically to oversee and monitor and give supportive element to their program. So by 2001, we had trained over 500 puppeteers who are really working, who are based in different areas of the country, doing different programs, using different languages and attacking different issues that affect them. The next slide. So just to highlight a bit, we officially launched puppetry program as a tool for community mobilization, community education, and community mobilization tool. By then, we were working under a program called Community Health Awareness Program. And basically, this came into being after being trained by AREP. We realized that we needed to have an umbrella. So we formed what we call CHAPS, Community Health Awareness Puppeteers. And we realized that we could not stand alone. So we went and attached ourselves to a program called Family Program Promotion Service, the mother organization that we realized could be able to mentor us, build our capacity. And because we are young, we had just finished school. So we didn't understand issues to do with programming, finance management, issues to do with like coordination. So we needed somebody who could be able to mentor us on all these aspects so that we grow in a more comfortable and more focused way. In 2007, after working under CHAPS for quite a long time, there was a lot of pressure for us now to scale up our puppetry program. And basically scaling in terms of capacity building, scaling in terms of our approaches and strategies. And that made us transform CHAPS into what we call Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre. And the idea was basically to professionalize the art of puppetry. The Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre is a community-based organization. It's not a formal institution as such. And it's when you are working on modalities to formalize it and register it with the Ministry of Education. And at the moment, we are registered under the Ministry of Arts, Sports and Performing Arts. That's how the status we are at the moment. And if you can see the three logos under that slide is basically FPPS, that was the mother mentoring organization. And then our first grouping or organization, CHAPS. And then at the present, we have Kenya Institute of Theatre. Those three logos are very, very important to us as it reminds us where we've come from. Next slide, Matt. Our mission is to promote puppet theatre as a medium of community education, communication, and social change. And as I said earlier, we are basically focused on social matters, social issues that affect community where we come from. That ranges from health, governance, corruption, human rights, and any social issues that affect the community. Those are our areas that we address, areas that we work in. And we run 4 main programs. Puppetry training, which is actually one of the most important programs that we run. Our root program is basically community education and outreaches, where we work with several communities across the country. And our third program is basically internship and mentorship, where we bring young people, students who would like to get to know how we do our trade, would like to know and build their capacity in the area of puppetry for social change. And we work with them for a couple of months or even years so that they could be professional puppeteers. And our last activities, our last program is International Puppetry Festival, which is IPFest Festival. This is an annual festival. We do it after every 2 years. And we started this festival in the year 2002. And we've been running it since then up to now. It's one of the pillars that actually brings several international puppetry groups to Kenya to exchange ideas, to share their experiences, and also create exchange programs that we do. And for your information, by the way, after training from AREP, we've been existent because of the cultural exchange program that we conduct. We do a lot of collaboration and partnership program. These are the key areas that actually bring beauty in the area of puppetry, because we don't have any formal school, we don't have any institution, even in higher learning, that focus on the use of puppets. So it's us to go out and find the best way we can be able to build our capacity to move to another level. And the last thing that we do now, we are in the process of establishing a puppet hub, because we realized for sustainability of this program, we needed to have at least a puppet center that can be able to house all this program, a puppet center that we can be able to say that we'll be able to sustain all this program. We particularly when donor funding goes down, because all our programs depend on donor funding. We are now looking into sustainability strategies without donor. What will happen if all the donors, we don't get money from donor supporters and private sector? Down there, you can see some of the kinds of puppets that we use. And basically, the first one is a concept of Unraku. And Gertrude talked about hands puppet. That's basically a hands puppet. We call it Euro puppet. Euro puppet basically because in the year 2000, the Netherlands embassy wanted to create a big HIV/AIDS awareness. And they contacted us to do performances before the world, Euro World performing, and the performer big screen in the community before showing matches. That was a big success. That's puppets that we call Euro puppet. The last picture is really a team of puppeteers around the world that came to one of our festivals. I think that was in 2006 or 2008. Much next. Why puppetry? I think we all understand why puppetry is very unique, and some of the reasons why I adopted puppetry include humor. It's very humorous. Very sensitive issues and controversial issues. Without so, because we have the what we call giant puppets for crowd pulling. Puppets pull very, very big crowds, particularly in the community, for performance discussion and question and answer sessions. Next slide. This is very key. The Kenyan model up. To work with the community involved program. So in all terms of performance, usually community action, for example, if they use water in a certain community borehole to be dug, performed on what needs to be done, meeting police or local administration to be able to dig a borehole. The community usually mandate few people to reach the local administration, agree on the modalities, and make sure that the action is the borehole is dug so that the community can get water. And then there is an element of monitoring the process, which basically is done by the community in partnership with Puppeteers. How do you come back and agree and be done? So a very big crowd. Sometimes very, very hard to control. We've created what we call, they are the people of community activities. And they are key, they are very, very key elements in our work. Next. Activeness. I cannot say impacted in terms of quantifying, but we are saying that we have been very effective because puppetry is quite effective because it's persuasive, it's personal, it's practical, and it's so it's like we touch the heart of the community by persuading them to take action, by giving the personal issues that affect them, and practically demonstrating how and when they do those actions can benefit them. Down the slides, you can see we also use different types of puppets. We also have like mask puppets, we have glove puppets, and in the previous slide, you could see shadow. So we integrate a lot of puppets depending on the kind of performance that we create. Next slide, Jan. I've highlighted only few achievements, but one of the achievements is that we've been able to create a lot of groups that we work with countrywide. We work with several institutions of higher learning, and recently, which is actually a plus for us, an agreement with Nairobi is one of the biggest universities in East and Central Africa. And we are going to support them in puppetry at the Department of Performing Art and Literature. We have realized, particularly the Ministry of Education has realized, that puppetry is a very, very key element in as a tool and as an art form. So the government is trying to make sure that we have all these elements together. And particularly, Kenya has a new system now called CBC, which is a practical part of teaching, the artistic part of teaching. So I believe a program is going to help a lot institution in terms of understanding how artistic work, and particularly puppetry. We have also developed our training model, and the Kenya model that is not only used in Kenya, but in several African countries. The next slide. And it's good to note that our program has been replicated in several countries, including Nigeria. By the way, Jerry, in the year 2009, I came to Nigeria, Bauchi State and Jos Plateau, to train people who are suffering from leprosy. Yes, and it's been a very, very good program for us. We have also trained puppetry and initiated puppetry program in Eritrea, Sudan, Somalia, Liberia, and Uganda. And the puppeteers there are doing very, very fine. We have also implemented several collaborative and partnership puppetry projects in Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Hungary. And as I said earlier, endorsement by Ministry of Education is key to us in our advancement.
Yeah.
Much on donor, private sector, and international organization to support sustain our program. Another challenge is the art in some communities due cultural reasons. Like I remember when I went to initiate inclusive. Inadequate obvious, as I say, we don't have that you can go and train in puppet. Inadequate know-how on a grid sometimes challenge because by community resource parts, so training them how we can be able to follow the program. It takes a lot of time. And as I said, the last picture where these guys, I think, discussing about funding. It's one of the statistic director. That's why that we started with the now we are to puppet. You started the next slide. Currently, we are working with Conrad and Noah Foundation from Germany, both in the past and present. Different is funded by the embassies. Nigeria. Jerry.
I think you're fine.
I am battling bad network, unfortunately. Okay, are we at the end of it now?
Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
And okay.
I'm not. No.
Hold on. Try. Here, I'll get it closed. I just close this. I'll just try it again. Where's share? Okay, share screen. Turn my choke. Sound. Okay. So I just can't seem to get the sound working on a reason.
I think this, yeah, the sound is muted or something.
It says it's full up 100%, both on the original opening right now. And I'm sharing, but the fact that you can see the subtitles, would it be okay to play it? And or is the sound crucial? Phylemon.
The sound is also crucial, but if it can't, then we can just see the subtitles.
Matt, when you open up the screen sharing, advanced video on that, when you open the share screen function, if you go to advanced, it should open up the sound a bit better.
Advanced sharing options.
Click on them and
somewhere at the bottom.
They might.
Somewhere on the bottom of this.
And I'm clicking on advanced share options. When I'm clicking on advanced sharing options, it's only telling me how many participants I can include. This is my issue. And I'm going to the top where it says share sound, and I'm pressing share sound, and it's ticked share sound. And so wrong.
Yeah.
Other things, I guess not. I'll just try again, and I guess I would have to just sort of say I'd be really sorry if we can't get the sound. It was playing. Just have to play it without, if that's okay. I'm terribly sorry. I'll try it again. Well, wait on. Perhaps is it the particular one I'm trying to share? Do I have a version that doesn't have any sound? Because I downloaded 2 off the share drive there. No, sorry, I can't seem to get sound. Is it okay if we watch it without?
Maybe we should just go without the sound then.
Okay. I'm terribly sorry.
Yeah. But Matt, is it, for instance, from your screen? Hello, Matt.
Okay, yep.
From your screen,
yes.
your sound icon is actually showing to be silent.
Where is this? Down
yes. Here?
Yeah. Well, that's...
Imekuwa mbaya zaidi. Mumechoka ama mjachoka?
All right. Okay, thanks, Jerry. Watch it. Now I go.
Kipindupindu imekuja mtaa yetu. Na mnajua ni kwa nini? Si mnajua? Wameiba mashamba yote mpaka hakuna mali ya kutupa takataka. Wameiba ama hawajaiba? Wamegondi. Kwanza saa hii na watoi wetu wako home kwa sababu ya mambo ya COVID. COVID hiyo imekuwa mbaya zaidi. Mumechoka ama mjachoka? Tumechoka. Mmechoka ama mjachoka? Tumechoka sana. Mama yao hatujachoka na takataka kumwagwa ovyo ovyo. Tumechoka sana. Wamegrab grao mpaka saa hii si grao tena. Wamegrab imebaki o pekee. Twende kwa ofisi ya chief, alafu tuende kwa MCA, alafu tuende kwa NMS. Hakuna ofisi hatutaenda leo. Twende tusiende? Ya Maiko msilale. Rare ya Maiko msilale. Bado mapambano. Bado mapambano. Chief hayuko. Sorry, siko. Leo niko off. Mnatakaje? Unafikiria hatujui sauti yako? Okay, mnataka nini? Wewe chief, ushaisikia cha mtemakuni? Tumekuja na hiyo cha mtemakuni leo. Cha mtemakuni ile wanasemanga kwa methali? Hiyo kumbe unaijua. Tunataka majibu leo. Kwa nini takataka imejaa kila mahali? Kwani hakuna shamba ingine inaweza tumiwa kama garbage? Hiyo takataka haiwezi pelekwa kwingine. Hiyo ni kazi ya watu wa county. Haki mimi msiniingize hapo. I wish mngejua vile hii mtaa iko na makateli wengi. Mnanisikia? Wewe ndio kateli mkubwa. Kwani kazi yako ni gani? Mama, sio rahisi vile mnafikiria mkiwa huko nje. Sasa, we bwana chief, tukitoka kwa ward admin alituambia tukuje huku kwako. Pia wewe huku kwako unaturudisha huko chini kwa ward admin. Tumekuja hapa na tutoki hapa. Okay, fanyeni hivi, endeni huko mara ya mwisho, na tafadhali msiseme ni mimi nimewatuma, We chief, hakuna haja ya kufungua. All the land that has been lazima irao kana kipindupindu. Hiyo lazima tufanye hiyo mkutano na watu wa county, alafu mwingine anaitwa nani? Ward admin, tuongee na DCC na pia watu wa NMS. Wewe ndio utatafutana na hao. Nitakoparate na nyinyi nipeni tu watu wawili, kesho tuende kwa na DC tusicombine. Amesema Paul ni woga. Huyu atakubali maneno. Huyu ataongea na chief. Mama yao. Alafu na Kevo. Na Kevo ataweza. Umemwamini? Kaende. Okay, sawa. Mimi na Kevo tutakuja hapa kesho. Twende kwa hao watu wako. Kesho tunaenda na mkuje mkiwa smart tafadhali Wewe sema tu hivyo alafu kesho tukuje tukukose. Hamwezi nikosa, mtanipata, I swear. Siwe na wasiwasi, kesho make sure mmefika hapa 9:30. Saa 3 kamili. Msisahau, I know you Africans. Kia Maiko msilale. Rare, kia Maiko msilale. Bado mapambano. Bado mapambano.
That's the first clip. I just want to do a bit of comparison with the second clip. If Matthew can just put the second clip also, just to give us a hint.
Oh, there's a second clip.
Yeah. Which is very short.
Again, I think with the link that I got from Jerry, I've only got, it seems to be the same. Same one again.
No, there are two different ones. There are different.
Okay. is this the one, mass education in schools, the one that you just
Yes.
Ah, okay, I'll get that one. Let me see, mass. Okay. And there we go. Now?
Yes.
Okay.
Bubbly gun. Number 28, I went for a walk, but now I stop under break. Excuse me, Shabusara. How are you?
Very fine, Maria. How are you? VI stands for virus and D stands for disease.
Okay. And what does 19 stand for? Oh, I know. There are 19 viruses.
No, Maria, they're not 19 viruses. 19 stands for the year that the virus was first detected, 2019. You understand?
Okay.
If someone has COVID, they have high temperature, it can cause breathing difficulty, same as some types of flu or the common cold.
So, can you look at someone and know that they have COVID?
No, Maria. Someone has to be tested to know if they have COVID-19. Maria, afraid of COVID. What you need to do is to understand how the virus is spread. That way, you can protect yourself.
How does it spread?
It is spread through direct contact with droplets and moisture from an infected person, mostly through coughing and sneezing.
Okay.
It can also be spread by touching surfaces contaminated by the virus and touching your eyes, mouth, or nose.
Can the virus stay in the surfaces for long?
Yes, it can last for long, even for hours. But the good thing is that simple cleaning by soap and water and alcohol-based sanitizers and chlorine can help kill the virus.
Is that the reason why we should wash
hands? We should use alcohol-based
space.
Good girl. Then Maria, our mask with a friend. Then when playing with your friends, keep your distance. We should not touch surfaces unless they have been wiped clean with a...
I'll go and tell Mom and Dad what you told me.
Very good. All your...
Bye. Keep socially disinfected. Goodbye for now and take care.
Thank you very much, and very much synchronized. I think it's because of it. But basically, that's how we go about the two areas of operation. One was more of an organized audience, basically in school, and one was a community approach, where we need community to take action, community to be able to highlight issues that affect them, and find solution to their problem. And we involve different approaches in developing these kits. Kit is basically the community members are involved. They participate from issue identification, scripting process, retesting results, and they develop strategies on how they're going to monitor the entire process. While the second approach for the school is basically the puppeteer sitting down to be able to produce everything for the school. And I thank you for watching. Maybe I can open up now for questions.
Yeah. Yes, it looks like 2 different screens. Jerry, can you turn on your microphone now?
Yeah, I'm getting dealt with by
Okay.
the quality of network. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Phylemon. Thank you, Phylemon. And this is I don't know, how do I describe this now? This is excellent. I mean it's very deliberately elaborate, and I think is the kind of motivation, you know, probably that the rest of us who are developing interest in puppet theater, and the fact also that it does not end at the point of the art for art's sake, you know, kind of situation, but the fact that we have also used these, you know, to empower people in Kenya and beyond, and also as a tool for social, social change and communicating change as well. I'll just simply say, well done, good work. I know something, you know, I was expecting something very big, but maybe not this big. So I am very, you know, excited at what we have just seen, even though I was in and out because of the network situation. So Matt, I think we should just take questions. We should take questions from.
Yes. You just muted yourself there, Jerry.
Yeah, just to open it up for questions and comments. There is one.
Sure. And would you like me to chair that just because you're...
Yes, please. Yes, please, because of the network issue. But there is a message in the box already. Let me read that now that I am. Yeah, thank you for this for your presentation has opened up ideas of how we can improve on and expand our work in puppets, especially the use within videos for our social change work. That's a message for you from South Africa, from Mary Fish Lange. So that's for you, Phylemon. Yes. So Matt.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody has any invitation, keep it up as well from Oludo. So if anybody wants to either type a question into the chat box or just turn on your microphone and ask a question. Phylemon, or Matt Smith is asking, Phylemon, he would love to have links to the films if possible. They're brilliant and would love to talk to you again. And Martina says it was engaging, it caught the attention of my kids and had them spellbound. So Martina's watching with her children. So, well, Phylemon, I think you shared your email details in the chat already. So Matt Smith could contact you that way. Maybe put them in again. So everybody's loving the work and especially the growth of that network over a 20-year period. If no one else has a question, does anyone else have a question? Matt Smith's turned his microphone.
There's a question in the box. There is a question in the box from.
What kind of puppetry?
Yes. What does it take to have you to come down to Zimbabwe for training and maybe collaboration?
Okay. And then we'll take a question from Matt Smith. All right. So first question from Gertrude.
For the training, basically we have our training that includes even the part days and the content that we go through. It also includes the final presentation to the community by the trainees. And I think I can be able to send that completely because it's just a package. And that can be able to give you insight of how we go about the entire process. One thing that we've realized is that sometimes, initially we used to have full board accommodation for participants because we realized that working, for example, 14 working days basically includes scripting, content identification, scripting, and puppet, scripting and puppet construction, rehearsals, committee presentation, and reporting. Takes a total of 14 working days. And the committee performance is the last day. it can be cheaper when we do now the non-residential training. We have those options, and you can be able to see where it fits. But it also depends about the agreement of participants and the trainers. Can they be able to keep time? Because it's like we need 12 working hours almost every day. That's why sometimes non-residential trainings takes a bit, it becomes a bit tedious because we waste a lot of time. But if you can be able to select very disciplined participant, then it's possible. I can be able to send, just drop me through my email, just drop me an email so that I can be able to send all this package, including the requirement for participants that would like to be trained as puppeteers.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Phylemon, there's been a couple of requests for links to the videos. Would you be able to send them to people in emails as well?
Yes, but at the same time, if you go to Kenya, let me just type Kenya.
Say it and I'll type.
Kenya Institute of Puppet Theatre at Team Puppet.
Kenya Institute Puppet Theatre at Team Puppet.
At teampuppet.org, you will find, that's a Facebook. You will find all those videos, the major videos that we put there.
May I ask, is it puppet with the English or American spelling? Like, is it R-E or E-R?
P-U-P-P-E-T.
P-U-P-P-E-T, but theatre, sorry, theatre, is it T-H-E?
Theatre is T-R-E. T-R-E.
T-R-E. And Kenya Institute Puppet Theatre, all one word?
Yes, one word.
Right.
At Team Puppet, you will find all those videos.
There it is. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Another question, I think, earlier from Matt Smith as well. Was that which form of puppetry do you think is the most effective? Is that the question, Matt?
That's the one.
Okay. Yeah. For community education, we prefer hand puppets. The hand puppets, even including glove puppets. The puppets that you can manipulate over above the head. This is because in community, you have to create a booth that all puppeteers are inside. Nobody sees them. The only thing to avoid that is the audience also engaging puppeteers. But when you are talking about the indoor performances, it depends. Sometimes you use shadow puppets. Sometimes you use marionettes, the string puppets. And sometimes you do a mix of all these. That's for a very well organized audience in the auditorium or theaters. And because most of our activities in the community are during the day, the shadow puppets cannot work in the community. And because sometimes we have very big crowd, the shadow puppets or the glove puppets they are not very visible. So we have to, that's why we created the human size puppets, the head that can be seen even from an audience standing like 10 meters away. So it depends with the kind of audience that you are going to address. That will actually give you a rough hint on the kind of puppets you are going to use. And sometimes in big stadiums, sometimes we are called for the African Day of the Child, HIV Days, or public holidays, we use the giant puppets, the big puppets. But with maybe 2 or 3 narrators and facilitators using mics all over the stadium. So anybody can be able to see the giant puppets inside the field and the announcers announcing, and the puppeteers basically manipulates or mime the word and the action being narrated by the narrators or the facilitators through the microphone or through the public address system.
Okay, well, that's a fairly comprehensive answer. Was that everything? Matt, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, it's lovely. It's just lovely to see. It's so impressive. And Phylemon, that work, the COVID video is so strong. It's just brilliant to see. It's so inspiring, and just a great way, you know, of getting messages across. That communication. It's really, and with the slides you've put there, really impressive, and gives you, you know, is a great model as well for that kind of use of puppetry that can be passing on really important information, but it's also kind of, you know, reflecting local ideas and local issues as well. You know, particularly that first video with the script was excellent as well, with the chief, and yeah, you know.
And just
I'm not here. We can recognize your voice.
just to add something on that, the COVID video, we realized for almost like 1 year, people are talking about COVID, and they were not breaking it down for children to understand. And it was very important for us to break it down in a very, very simple way so that the children could be able to understand what this COVID is all about. And I think the video was very, very effective. Even a young kid could be able to understand what COVID is and preventive measures that you need to take, as opposed to just seeing things on the video or the TV and on radios about COVID prevention, but not going down to the level of a child, the whole concept of COVID. That's why we produced the video.
And I was just going to say, last time we were talking, Matt Smith mentioned that he'd done some work himself with groups in Kenya. Do you guys know anyone in common? Is there any kind of exchange between the groups that Matt, you were working with, and Philemon's networks? And was your project also addressing coronavirus, I think, Smith, as we're calling you now?
Yes, hello, Smith here. Citizen Smith. Yes, it was a small project, but it used lots of different art as well. That was it used. There was a comic book that was really, really well produced. I'm not sure. I mean, one thing, Matt, I'd like to say is that, yeah, I think it's interesting mixing these things up. There was a project that I got involved in before the COVID project at Lungoff, and what I can do with Phylemon is I'll send some stuff on an email and kind of it's about connecting people up, really. The project was really interesting, the first project, because basically I was just asked to, you know, to bring my puppetry making skills into it, which I'm always not that greatly confident about sometimes, because my puppets do look a bit strange. But I worked with another colleague in the university here, and he was working on a lung project that was actually using murals and graffiti to get messages across as well. So the projects I've been involved in was like multi-arts one, and puppetry is just one part of those many different art forms, right, which is one of I really liked it. But what was interesting was the puppet that I made for the lung project was so successful, but it was like it was great because I made the puppet and it worked remotely, so I didn't have, you know, it was taken and then used. So I really love this way that Philemon's been talking about it as a tool, but also the puppet has its own it does its work away from us. We can kind of like, you know, give these great tools over, and they can actually go and do the work, and people in their local community can take them and actually use them. And I think, you know, but also what I think is brilliant about the work we've seen, and particularly those videos, is that the models that Philemon's talking about are so clear and so usable. You know, it's just a brilliant resource to have there. And, you know, yeah, it's just exciting seeing that work. I mean, I've looked at the Kenyan, I was going to say Kenyan Institute of Puppetry. I probably said the name wrong, but I've looked at the website, and I was really impressed by the work anyway, and had a little look. So yes, it's a big treat for me to see this.
Fantastic. Thanks, Matt. So that was where my question for Phylemon was going to be, what are your plans to do next? And do they include further collaboration internationally, even in Ireland or the UK?
I'm open, and we're open to collaboration. We'll really, really appreciate any kind of collaboration. And I think that I trained the deaf on the use of puppets in Uganda and Kenya. And reviving such kind of collaboration, even if it's through the British Council, I think can be of great help, or any other institution. And I think with Smith, we can just maybe develop a concept on the best way possible on how we can be able to develop a very comprehensive partnership or collaborative project, and specifying which particular areas we would like to work in. And I think there is a great opportunity now that we are working with several universities also. That also come in handy, because University of Nairobi, I think it's when we are realizing in Africa that we need to incorporate all these artistic genre to be able to give students and pupils and some option on what they need or what they can choose. And I think maybe as Smith, maybe it can start from your side, the concept of collaboration or partnership. Then we how best do you go about it? Maybe in terms of support or in terms of implementation.
You feel a network coming on. Zimbabwe, Kenya, UK, Nigeria, Uganda, Ireland. Nigeria and Ireland. Does anybody else have any other questions? Oh, I see if there's something in the chat. The COVID video is very impactful and inspiring. Does anybody else have any other questions for Phylemon? And if not, I might sort of perhaps invite Dotun Osunsanya perhaps to respond to Phylemon's sharing and sort of give a perspective on how it might relate to your own work. Dotun, if that's in respect of your expertise and
Thank you very much. I think that's great work being done there. But aside from the technicalities, I want to greatly encourage the linking up of the two centers in Kenya that have made presentation now, so that they can strengthen themselves. In terms of cooperation, 1 + 1 is usually higher than 2. So I want to first and foremost encourage that cooperation. We look at how we can also do cooperation at the international level. I think it's great work, really, really. Phylemon, that's really nice work. I already said that in the chat. Please keep it up, what you are doing. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, yes, has Jerry got his video working? Really want to see this. So, the thing is, one of the, oh, you've got it working?
Yes, I think.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
And hoping that I won't get thrown out. As a backup, I'm already putting it also in the chat. I'm already putting it in the chat just in case my network, melts down. Like I said, it's not.
You're going to put a link to it in the chat?
Yes, the video is in the chat as we speak. Yeah, it's not what you want to look at, the same way you look at what we have just seen. Like I said, this is not to belittle it, and I shouldn't do much of talking, but we're just like, okay, what is this? What do we need to do? How do we need to start? And we got together and, in just 2 sessions of meeting, the storyline, and then of course we took the, one of the forms, and here is what we have. We just want to share with you, and just to indicate that work is not going to talk. And Phylemon, yeah, your history of coming to Nigeria is not going to end with Bauchi. Hopefully someday the combination of you and Mr. Dotun here, we will be able to train a little more of puppets practitioners here in Nigeria. So I'll quickly share. Let me not talk too much before network give me a knock from here. Yeah. Okay, where is it? Just a minute. These guys can be very funny sometimes.
How's it going now, Jerry?
Just getting to sort it out. It's taking me all the way to the beginning. No problem. I'll go to the beginning. Okay, this is what we've got. Okay, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. Poultry, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. See my body, see my soul, shrinking under heavy weight of hunger. Hear my yearnings, hear my wailings, coming from the saddest of my inside. Oh, tall tree, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. Tall tree, bend down low.
Hey, Jerry. Sorry, Jerry. For me and a couple of other people, we can't see the image. We can hear the sound, but we can't see the image.
I want to eat, I want to eat. Don't let me die. Give me, let me. And now?
Still no.
Still no? Okay. So I guess then we'll probably have to watch from the link if we can quickly get.
I've downloaded it onto my computer. Do you want to see if I can share my version?
Oh, okay, let's try from yours.
Okay. So here's sharing. Can you see it on your?
Yes, I can see it.
I can see.
Okay, so if you stop yours,
I have stopped it.
Sound still playing.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can still hear the sound from yours, Jerry.
I have stopped it.
Okay. Okay. So I'll press play on this one and see how that goes. Can you see that okay?
Yes, I can see.
Brilliant.
Is longing for your food. Poultry, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. See my body, see my soul, shrinking under heavy weight of hunger. Hear my yearnings, hear my wailings, coming from the saddest of my inside. Oh, tall tree, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. Tall tree, bend down low. My throat is longing for your food. Oh, I want to eat, I want to eat. Oh, give me, let me eat. I want to eat, I want to eat. Don't let me die. Give me, let me eat from the fruit on your toe. Oh, tall tree, bend down low.
Òṣùpá bá ti yọ sókè, omi òkun wá fi jọ́bẹ, àti lọ́tún àti lóru. Let me try this, please. Àwa ń yọ̀ nínú omi títí nothing. Títí láéláé lóṣùpá wà, gbogbo ayé ló yíká. Títí láéláé lóṣùpá wà. Nothing. Gbogbo ayé ló yíká. Omi òkun, omi ọ̀sà. Still empty. Gbogbo odò inú ayé. What a day. What a day. Huh? It's past noon and I have not even made any single catch. Huh? Where are all the fishes gone to? And I can't go home now. And there's nothing to show for it. Tired. Yes. But how do I go back home and tell my children that I couldn't bring anything home for them to eat? Huh? There will be civil war at home. Let me try this part of the river. Huh? It seems calmer. Let me just try my luck. Let me cast my net here and see if I can get any fish. It's better to try than never. What? What? Seems like it's a very wonderful day for me at last. Seems like my fortune is about to change. All right, let me give it a very nice pull. Finally, big fish pepper soup assured for my family.
Please, let me go. I can't breathe.
Who is that? You can't breathe?
I can't breathe. You are holding me.
Oh, here in my hook?
Yes.
A talking fish?
Please, let me go.
How is that possible? Huh? I have been toiling here all day without a single catch, and now I have you, and then you want me to let you go? And then I will go home, and then I will not have anything to give my wife and children? No, that's not possible.
Please, let me go. You are choking me. I have my family there in the waters. I need to go meet them. They need me.
How is that possible? I can't let you go. Listen to me, my friend. I also have a wife and 3 children at home. Huh? Me? And they eat. They are waiting for me to bring you home. Do you understand me?
Please, let me go. Okay, I would do anything you want. Just let me go.
You think that is just simple like that, huh? Look at you. Just look at you. Huh? Oh, okay, let me ask you a question. Are you going to give me all the fishes in the river if I let you go? Or you want to, by magical means, conjure what my wife and my children are going to eat tonight?
You are talking with a golden fish. I'm not just a fish. Just let me go. I will give you anything. You can make any wish, but just 3 times. 3 wishes. Anything you want.
Anything?
Anything.
As in anything I want?
Anything you want.
not temptation. With a little confusion. I'm confused and this is a temptation at the same time. Okay. I will let you go. Not because not because I really want to, but because you have actually begged for your life and your life means a lot to you.
Thank you very much.
It's okay.
Thank you very much.
You can go. Let's go. Go. I have been toiling all day just to have a single catch, and I couldn't get any. And then this big fish for his life. Did I do right by letting it go? Anyway, I'll keep trying. Let me just try and cast my net again and see if there's anything I'm going to get. Okay. I'm tired. I think I'll just go home. I'll just go home to my wife and explain everything to her. That is what I'm going to do. Not just one fish. I'm going on, Joe. I can't go. I can't go and come and kill myself.
So, are you telling me that you let it go?
I had to.
No.
Why, my dear? Why shouldn't I? The poor fish begged for its life, so I had to let it go. Moreover, do you want to eat a talking fish?
Why not? I am asking you, why not? It is better than dying of hunger. So, anyway, what favor did you ask your talking fish?
Nothing.
Husband, did I just hear you say nothing?
What do you want me to ask from a poor helpless creature?
Helpless creature, he says. Are we ourselves not helpless? The fish act needed.
Now, what would that be? Tell me.
Look at us. We live in this ramshackle building. Husband, couldn't you have asked the fish to build us a befitting house?
Wife, what's your ambition?
Or to even make us the richest people in the whole wide world, to be in need of anything ever again.
This is not right.
What is not right? Husband, letting that fish go is what is not right or wrong now.
So you expect me to actually be asking a poor fish, a helpless fish, a favor? Don't you know that is like asking someone a favor out of frustration? That is empty promises. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, how would you have known that it was an empty promise when you refused to ask? You did not even ask for anything. call me impossible. Call me impossible. First time. Look, just go. Go back and ask a favor of that fish. Ask that fish for what we need, before we eat you up.
Ah, so you are calling me an infidel, right? Huh?
Well, I did not say anything of such. All I am asking you is that you go do the needful.
Go do the needful. Okay, thank you. Yeah, good crack. Thank you, Jerry, and the cast who we are lucky enough to have in our presence. So Jerry, do you want to say a little bit about that?
I think I should have Oga Dotun speak to that. Oga Dotun, sir. This is part of efforts to begin to stimulate interest and do something about puppet theater in Nigeria. And already everyone is excited. And so you can see we are already promising a production in September, a full-length production of what you have just said. Probably the golden fish is a story that is one of these folk tales that everyone is familiar with. The fisherman and the golden fish. They are in varying versions, from the Russian version to the English version to the African version and all of that. So which I am having to script to maybe what will become the Nigerian version. And then we are looking at using puppetry to put this, on stage. For our audience in Nigeria and especially Abuja, it will be more of a shock because we are moving from one end of to another that they are particularly not familiar with, especially going by what the theater scene in Nigeria is like, in the last 2 decades thereabout. Puppet theater has gone to bed. We are only just, waking it up. So if Oga Dotun is still here, I don't know if he has anything to say. However, one of the voices on that piece is actually that of Auntie Shine. And the wife is Auntie Shine. The fisherman himself, the fisherman is Israel Isaac, another of our artists here in Arojah Royal Theatre. And of course, Osasua Ehibo, the fish, the golden fish itself. So I don't know if Oga Dotun has anything to say, or probably if there are questions and comments from this end.
Ola Dotun is there. Ola Dotun, do you want to speak a little bit? You want to give a critique of the performance of the goldfish? If you could turn your microphone on, Ola Dotun. Perhaps.
Okay, so
perhaps
I think we should.
Okay. Well, also we're over.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gertrude. Thank you, Phylemon, Auntie Shine. Thank you, Ola Dotun. Thank you, Matt, Karen, and Mary, Joshua, Ozzy, Una, who else do we still have? Well, everybody who's here, you know who you are. So what I was going to say is what we usually do at the end is we try and work out if we want to do another one of these kind of things, and if so, what we would like it to be about. So to whoever's present. So whoever's with us in the Zoom can sort of suggest and or even vote on what we'd like to do next.
What should happen?
Would we like to do another session on applied puppetry? Would we like to do another session on digital theater? We'd like to do another session of, say, readings of each other's work. Would we like to do a session on mental health? Would we like to do a session on, that was another one we had on, was the history and the current situation in terms of political conflict. So if anybody has a suggestion for what they might like to do for another one of these kinds of exchanges, or if they would like to have another one of these exchanges, please feel free to type it into the chat box or just unmute your mic and say, I would like to do whatever, which could be another session about applied puppetry. I mean, the applied puppetry thing seems to be really tapping into well, first of all, does anybody want to have another one of these things? Well, so we got some people saying it was good and they liked it and it was excellent and enjoyable. So
yeah,
if we all enjoyed it, we could have another one. Would we like to do another session about puppetry, or is there some other topic that somebody feels is important?
I'd like to suggest something.
Okay, thank you, Gertrude.
So as artists, we are not all privy to how funding works or how support works, how organizations fund different individuals or organizations. So if possible, is it okay if we can have people that can maybe give insight on how one writes a proposal, what is important to state in a proposal, what kind of language does one have to use when asking for funding, what kind of organizations fund what, issues to do with administration, really, because I personally have never been trained to do that. I just meet up with an application and I just apply, and if I'm lucky, I get it. If I'm not lucky, I don't get it. So why not really get insight from people that have succeeded and who are actually into it, who can actually assist us on how to get funding as individuals and also as organizations. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Everyone's favorite topic, administration and fundraising. That's something I can have a huge amount of expertise in myself, but it is something crucial. I do know some people who've been good at raising funds for organizations based in Northern Ireland. Yeah. I would say network has been pretty good. Mary, I think Mary and South had a fair bit of experience and success at applying for funding, haven't you?
I have, Matt, not on a massive scale, but just enough to keep small projects going. So I'd be happy to share what we've done and in South Africa and how we've linked to especially the INRA Congress. Yeah, I'd be very happy.
Fantastic. So there we go. We've got Mary is willing to talk to us about her approach to fundraising. Gertrude, could I ask, are you mostly interested in potential for international funding, national level funding, all of the above?
All of the above.
All of the above. Everything. Everything. Well, also, so I would say it's a changing picture that's happening in the UK and Northern Ireland at the minute because of the massive funding cuts. I mean, in Northern Ireland, we're pretty much down to almost nothing now in terms of arts funding. I mean, yeah, there is a bit, I'm not going to pretend there isn't. And the entire sector is entirely dependent on public funding. There is no commercial theatre sector in Northern Ireland at all. Funding and so on and so forth.
Right.
So do you want to see if we can have somebody who could talk about the entire array of getting money from anywhere kind of thing? A company I'm working with.
Yes. I think that would really help because, like I said in my presentation, here in Zimbabwe, even if corporate companies were to give our National Arts Council funding for artists, we don't get it.
Right.
So that's why our industry is really down. So you'd really seek to know how really to go about it for you to get funding, even out.
One thing I know, for instance, in Australia, where funding has traditionally been even worse than it is in Northern Ireland, where not because the country isn't rich, but just politicians don't see the value in any funding for arts at all. Really, it's a very anti-intellectual country in the sense it's called the cultural cringe. So one thing I know that a lot of organizations have started doing in Australia is directly approaching corporations for sponsorship. Now it's problematic. It's near a mine, and the mine is having, on one hand, a negative impact on the environment and the lives of the people in the local community. On the other hand, it's the primary employer. So I know of, say, arts festivals and community theatre companies and puppetry companies in Australia who've approached a local big mining company to say, to get funding for arts festivals. So there's a whole range of potential approaches. Well, I'll chat and identify about their approaches to fundraising. Thank you so much for volunteering to do that. Letting me volunteer. And I and Mary will talk. And Phylemon has a hand up. Is that right?
Yeah,
Phylemon, you wanted to say?
Yes. I think that's funding is a very, very crucial issue for any project.
Yeah.
But I think apart from that, we also need to bring, maybe you can have two people on the board on that particular session we're talking about. One is also about management. Like in Africa, I don't think there's specialized training to do with art management. One of the reasons why groups come up and die, particularly groups come up and die, is about funding, but at the same time, it's management. If we can have these two key speakers on the next session, will really help.
Yeah, well, what we often do is we invite, as we had today, 2 or 3 speakers on a particular topic. We have also tried to get a balance between people from the Northern Hemisphere, UK, Ireland kind of area, with people from Southern, Global South, South America, Africa, and so on. So we'll have a chat and we'll see if we can get at least 2, probably maximum 3, so 2 to 3 speakers, and we'll see if we get somebody who's based around here and somebody who, Mary in the South. Phylemon, you look like you've been pretty successful in fundraising. Do you want to add? Would you like to share your thoughts on the matter?
Briefly, I can do that, particularly borrowing from what we've done in the past. Okay. And basically, development is changing very, very fast in terms of strategy, in terms of the format. But I can briefly talk about our experiences in fundraising.
Particularly because you mentioned a British Council funded project. So for the Indra Network and various other people that I know, including Zoe Seaton from Big Tally, who was joining us to talk about her digital performances recently. There's a lot of interest in British Council funding, and particularly because of the possibility of developing these conversations into collaborations between European, British, Irish, North American, South American, African artists. Perhaps we could have the idea of a slight focus on British Council funding. The other thing I was going to say is it doesn't have to be a formal presentation. I know Mary was asking how long or how little does it be. Much of it has been is a conversation. We ask somebody to speak, and when people can ask questions and interrupt. But if anybody wants to do a formal presentation with slides or show a video clip or share an funding application form, fun stuff, feel free. So it's whatever we make it. This is entirely casual, participant led, and hopefully we'll lead things. So if Mary talk, and we maybe talk about local, international somebody or elsewhere in the UK, and we can have alongside you two for the next one talking about management, administration, and fundraising. That's a great suggestion. Thank you so much, Gertrude.
Yeah.
And Mary's going to get really? Well, that's what we'll do. And it's now 1:15, so we should probably let people back to their lives and families. And
yes.
Your weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you next time. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Jerry. Did you want to say something before we go?
Well, just to say thank you to everyone for your time. And we have gone a little bit further than we used to do. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next month. We'll get to share with you a recording of this session by the end of today, hopefully. So next month, we look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for coming around, and goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye. Bye, Joshua. Karen, bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jerry and Matt, for putting together such
Gertrude.
a
Thank you. Thank you. We'll get to talk. Maybe I'll allow you to finish with your program, since your program is for later today.
Yes, it's for later today. So today we'll be recording